Coach, you're catching Notre Dame on a hot spell, I see.
They're playing pretty well, Mickey. Actually, it's a heck of a comeback, the Villanova game.
Bob,
Yeah.
the way they play it, they obviously slow it down by, limit possessions, kind of keep it at their pace. Is, on the other side, is it a manner of just being more efficient with what you do, or do you guys have strengths that you think that maybe can speed them up and make it uncomfortable for them and get them to play out of their style?
I don't think you can really speed them up, Mike. I think the people that have tried to speed them up haven't been very successful. They got too many guys who can make shots. When you gamble and take chances, then they make shots.
So more efficient, I guess. Last game, I would say a lot more efficient, but is that something you guys are getting better at? And I know it's something you talked about for a long time too.
Well, we were awful the first half.
Mm-hmm.
We just, what did we score? 16 points the first half, I think it was. And we just had a spell where we just didn't play very well. Didn't play very well offensively. And then really did a pretty good job the second half, get back in the game. And then they made some big shots. We didn't, and they did.
Coach, when you look at Jack Cooley, is he scouted any different this time around than what you guys had seen the first time? I mean, he's obviously, starting to score a lot more than what he might have had, early, middle part of the season.
Well, he's very efficient. I think, he's a lot like KJ. A lot of what he gets is off the offensive glass.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of get a body off of him whenever, in their screen and roll, kind of turns him loose. And I think sometimes people, you have to help because of the penetration that the two guards get. I mean, he's scored in the post. They are throwing him the ball a little bit more.
Bob, one more about the way they play. I think when you guys met back in the tournament in 2010, they kind of started playing this way, like slow down a little bit, and it's kind of continued. Is this kind of what he's beginning to do, or is it just what he has? I think of like Villanova when Jay had all the small guys and he played like four guards. Obviously, completely different style, but is this just what he's starting to do, or is it just who he has?
I don't know. You'd really have to ask him that. It seems like they got more and more that way after they lost Abramitis.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense.
Coach, Gary Brown the other night kind of made a point talking about how practices recently have begun to pick up, become a little bit tougher. I was just kind of wondering if that is anything by design. Do you typically change practices at all this, at this point of the season, the stretch run, so to speak?
I honestly don't think practices have changed that much.
Mm-hmm.
Gary might have played a little harder.
Right.
Coach, it's Scott Grayson. You've been kind of talking about how guys, how the team has really needed to get to 10 wins. It's where you kind of set the mark that they need to get to. I'm guessing that's still the same. Has that changed at all?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that if we're 9-9, we're not okay. But I'd feel a whole lot better with 10. Feel a whole lot better with 12, actually.
Any other questions?
Coach KJ's coming up on his 1,000th rebound. Just kind of wondering any major significance to that. Is that a major accomplishment for him?
Well, Justin, there's only been 3 guys that have ever done what he's done. Well, I mean, two and him. One being Jerry and the other one being Warren Baker. So,
right.
You know, when you're one of 3 people, you know, at a university like this, that's had obviously a lot of great players. It's a heck of an accomplishment.
Anything else?
Bob, if they have all these shooters, do you feel like you can zone them again? It looked like I think you sounded like you were pretty happy with it Thursday night when you went to it. In any respect of shooting, is that something that's an option, maybe more so than it was a week ago?
We're getting better at it. I mean, we can't do what we did Thursday night. Thursday night we left them open a couple times. We didn't switch out some things, but yeah, I mean, I don't think we can just play 40 minutes of man-to-man. We're going to have to make some changes.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Coach's time off this weekend. Any see any improvement? Things to work on. You had it's kind of a rare opportunity, a weekend off to work on some certain things.
Justin, we're obviously not making shots.
Right.
Truck hasn't shot it very well of late. We had a bunch of open shots against the zone. We just got to step into shots and make them. Jabari hit a big one for us that really kind of got us going. But we just got to shoot the ball better. I mean, it sounds simple, but it's not like we're not getting pretty good shots.
Right. Players were talking after that game about, that was as far as just manning up, guarding their guy. They hadn't guarded like that in a while. Would you agree? Have you seen a lot of improvement in that area?
I think we've had periods where we have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be honest. We get back in the Notre Dame game, we're pretty much dead in the water after as bad as we played the first half, and we get back in the game, tie the game actually.
Right.
And we played defensively pretty well for a period of time. We haven't sustained things. We have a tendency to take a play off here and there, and when you take plays off, particularly when you're playing the people that we're playing, they're going to take advantage of it.
Right.
Did you think in the Pitt game that they moved the ball probably better than they have in a lot of games?
I don't know, Mick. They played 2-3 zones, so it's not very hard to move it. We get sometimes. I think we get too perimeter oriented. That may look good, like it's good ball movement, but you've got to throw it into the teeth of the zone to collapse the zone, and we don't do enough of that.
Seemed like they made fewer errors. I don't know. I didn't see the turnover total, but
there's less possessions. When there's less possessions, you're going to have less turnovers. You're going to have fewer points, but you're also going to have less turnovers. And it's just Pitt was very deliberate, and because they were in that 2-3 zone, we were a lot more deliberate than what we have been against man-to-man anyway.